In a world that never stops talking, silence is a weapon few have learned to use. Too many rush to fill the space, to justify themselves, to react as soon as the first word is thrown. But the truth is, the one who stays quiet gains the upper hand. The one who doesn't rush to reply, who chooses to watch and listen, gives themselves the greatest advantage of all, the chance to understand. Let others speak. Let them reveal who they really are. Let their words expose their fears, their motives, their weaknesses. Stay silent long enough, and the world will tell you everything you need to know. And when the time comes, when the moment is right, you can move with precision, not with haste, not with anger, but with a clarity and strength that only silence can create. Stay quiet, stay sharp, stay patient. Let others run their mouths while you run the game. In the end, it's not the loudest voice that wins, but the one that knows when to stay silent and when to act. It's a lesson that Niccolo Machiavelli understood better than anyone. In a world of noise, silence is not weakness, it's dominance, it's control, it's victory. In this lesson, we're going to unpack one of the oldest secrets of power: why silence gives you an edge over those who fill the air with noise. We'll explore how silence can unsettle others, protect you from betrayal, and help you dominate in situations where words only make you weaker. By the end of this video, you'll understand how to use silence as a weapon in meetings, negotiations, and everyday moments. You'll learn when to stay quiet, when to speak, and how to make your silence speak louder than any words ever could. Stay with us until the end, because what you're about to learn can change the way you play the game of life forever. At the cost of speaking too much. Look around. The ones who talk the most are rarely the ones who win. They spill their thoughts, expose their motives, and give away the very information others can use against them. In a world where every word can be a weapon, too many people hand their enemies a blade and invite them to strike. The more we speak, the more we reveal. We expose how we think, what we fear, what we desire. We make ourselves predictable, and in a brutal world, predictability is a death sentence. The silence we fear is the silence that protects us. The silence we fill with meaningless words is the silence that gives others the upper hand. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. To him, words weren't to be thrown out like coins in a market. They were weapons, to be used sparingly and only when needed. The truly powerful knew how to wait, how to observe, and how to listen. They spoke when silence had done its work, when words could land like a hammer rather than dissolve like mist. In silence, you can read a room. You can notice the slight shift in posture, the glance exchanged between enemies, the nervous tapping of fingers. The person who doesn't rush to fill silence doesn't seem lost. He seems in control. He appears like a predator, patient and poised, making others wonder what he knows that they don't. Meanwhile, those who speak too quickly often bury themselves. In moments when silence could have been a weapon, their words become a noose. They reveal too much. They justify themselves unnecessarily. They try too hard to win, and in doing so, they lose. This is the lesson every conqueror has learned. In silence, there is strength. In silence, you hold the advantage. In silence, you watch, you learn, and you wait for the moment when words, sharp and deliberate, can shatter the noise and claim victory. The cost of talking too much is too high. The cost of silence, when used wisely, is a price worth paying every time. Making silence a power move. We've all been in that moment. Someone tries to humiliate you. Someone tries to drag you down. They raise their voice, they call you names, they twist words to sting, hoping to make you flinch, to make you stumble, to make you lash out. In that moment, every instinct in you may scream, respond, defend yourself, hit back harder. But that is the trap. That is precisely what they want. The person attacking you is looking for a reaction. They crave it. It gives them a sense of victory, a sense of control. They want to make you dance to the beat of their aggression. The moment you rise to answer, the moment you match their voice with your own, you have already lost. You have stepped into their game, and in their game, noise wins. The lesson here, one that the strong have learned and the weak have ignored, is that silence can be more devastating than any comeback. When you remain silent, when you hold your ground and give nothing away, you turn their words into echoes that haunt only themselves. You force the other person to live in the space of their own aggression. Suddenly their voice is no longer a weapon aimed at you. It is a reflection of their own desperation. Silence gives you an edge. It gives you clarity. It gives you the space to watch, to assess, to understand the person in front of you. It allows you to read between the lines, to notice the quiver in their voice, the flash of doubt in their eyes. The person trying to humiliate you doesn't expect silence. Silence unsettles them. It makes them wonder, why didn't they respond? Did I cross a line? Do they know something I don't? And that is where your power lives. Not in words thrown like punches, but in silence that absorbs the attack and gives nothing back. Not in trying to justify yourself, but in making the other person justify themselves. The longer you stay composed, the more their aggression turns inward. The more silence you hold, the more their words lose weight, lose direction, lose force. Remember this: the one who attacks with words is often the one most afraid. The one who tries to humiliate is often the one who feels humiliated. The one who yells the loudest is often the one with the least to say. Silence exposes all of this. Silence shines a light upon their weakness. It shifts the focus from you to them, making their own voice a witness to their character. True strength is knowing when to walk away, when to stay quiet, when to fix your gaze and give a slight nod. A nod that says, I see you. I understand your game, and I have chosen not to play it. This silence doesn't make you a coward. It doesn't make you passive. It makes you dangerous. It makes you unpredictable. It makes you strong. The best victories are won when the enemy doesn't even realize the war is over. The best battles end when one side doesn't even raise a weapon. The best moments of dominance occur when silence replaces the urge to defend. The person who can stand tall in the face of an attack and remain quiet is a person who can win in every room, every conversation, every circumstance. So the next time someone tries to drag you down with words, remember this lesson. Stay silent. Stay composed. Stay aware. Let them empty themselves, reveal themselves, expose themselves. Let their aggression circle back upon them like a blade. Let the silence between you carry a message that no words can match. Let silence be your weapon, your shield, your victory. Because when you learn to stay quiet in the face of an attack, when you learn to watch and listen, when you learn to stand firm as a statue while words crash upon you like waves upon a rock, you send a signal that the world will understand, even if it can't describe it. You are in control. You are unshakable. You are not a pawn in their game. You are the one who wins, not the nature of silence. Silence is not an absence. It is a force. It is a space where thoughts deepen, where intentions hide, where power is molded. The nature of silence is that it unsettles those who cannot bear it. The moment words stop, the room doesn't go empty. It fills with tension. It fills with questions. It fills with doubt. In a world that rewards noise, silence is rare. Most people fear it. They fear that others will judge them, misunderstand them, forget them. So they fill every gap with words, every breath with sound. But in doing this, they give away their edge. They forget that silence is a weapon, precisely because it disarms the careless and exposes the insecure. Think of silence like the surface of deep water. What you don't say allows others to imagine the depth. What you don't reveal allows others to doubt their own understanding. In silence, you hold the threads of the conversation. You invite others to fill the void, and in doing so, they give themselves away. The nature of silence is predatory. It stalks, it waits, it observes. The one who stays quiet appears confident because he doesn't need words to justify himself. The one who chooses silence signals strength. Strength that doesn't require applause. Strength that doesn't require agreement. This is why silence frightens those who must be heard. It reminds them that their voice is worth less than the space it occupies. Silence also sharpens the mind. When words fall away, thoughts rise to the surface. The quieter you become, the more you notice. You read gestures, you spot inconsistencies, you sense vulnerability in others long before you ever speak. In silence, you gain control, and control is the foundation of all victory. To understand silence is to understand its nature. It is both a shield and a spear. It conceals your motives until you decide to strike. It allows you to listen more, to learn more, and to wait for the right moment. It frustrates the arrogant, unsettles the proud, and forces the impulsive to expose themselves. This is why silence has always been the weapon of the strong. It is not a void. It is a space you own. And when you own that space, when you command that silence, you can bend the noise of the world to your will. The nature of silence is simple and brutal. It gives you the upper hand because it denies it to those who cannot bear its weight. The Machiavellian Silence. Machiavelli knew this better than anyone. Silence is a weapon that can win battles words never could. In The Prince, he reminds us that those who govern wisely understand how to measure every word, how to veil their thoughts, and how to use silence as a tool to dominate. To Machiavelli, silence was more than just being quiet. It was a calculated choice. He watched rulers rise and fall because of their words. The ones who spoke too soon revealed their plans. The ones who spoke too openly gave away their strength. But the leaders who held their tongue, who acted more than they announced, kept others guessing. They kept others fearing. In a court filled with whispers and betrayal, silence was a fortress. It shielded a prince from scrutiny and allowed him to move unseen until the moment came to act. Those who mastered silence didn't have to justify themselves because silence itself became a statement. It spoke louder than any voice. It spoke of discipline, of restraint, and of calculated strength. Think of it this way. Words can be twisted. Promises can be used against you. Boasts can be mocked. But silence? Silence cannot be attacked. Silence gives no target. Silence leaves no trace. In silence, the cunning can gather information, watch the moves of others, and wait until victory is certain. This was the core lesson of The Prince. Do not be quick to reveal your hand. Do not waste words on ears that don't deserve them. Let silence build tension. Let it make others nervous. Let it give you room to think, to adapt, to dominate. The best warriors, the best leaders, the best manipulators have always known this. The silence of a lion before the hunt. The silence of a snake before the strike. The silence of a general surveying the battlefield. It is in silence that victory takes shape. It is in silence that ideas become weapons. It is in silence that the strong separate themselves from the loud, the desperate, and the defeated. This is the lesson of Machiavelli, a lesson as sharp and as relevant today as it was 500 years ago. Stay quiet until you must speak. Stay hidden until you must move. Stay silent until your silence itself becomes the greatest weapon you have. Practicing the art of silence. How to apply this in life. Knowing silence is a weapon is one thing. Making it a part of who you are is another. The truth is, silence doesn't come naturally for most of us. We're taught from a young age that to be heard is to matter, that to stay quiet is to be ignored. But if you can shift that mindset, if you can practice silence with intention, you can transform the way the world treats you. So how do we practice it? The first step is learning to listen. Not just to words, but to what is left unsaid. Observe how people speak, how quickly they fill the space between thoughts. Watch how discomfort makes them ramble. When you stay quiet and listen, you don't just learn about others, you also learn about yourself. You notice when you have the urge to justify, to impress, or to fill silence just to feel safe. Recognize those moments, stay present, let the silence do its work. The second step is using silence intentionally. Practice pausing before you reply. Give yourself a moment to measure your words, or to decide if words are even necessary. The more you do this, the more you'll notice how silence changes the room. Suddenly, people lean in closer. Suddenly, your words carry more weight because you use them sparingly. Another step is creating moments of silence in daily life. Try having conversations where you focus more on understanding than responding. Let others speak fully before you fill the space. Practice saying less, but making sure that when you do speak, it's worth hearing. At first, this will feel strange. You might worry that people will misunderstand you or forget you. But with time, you'll notice that silence doesn't diminish your presence, it sharpens it. The final piece is making silence a habit. Begin with moments in meetings, moments with friends, moments with strangers. Let silence build strength within you. Let it give you clarity. Let it deepen your confidence. The more you practice, the more silence becomes second nature, and the more it becomes a part of your power. Remember, silence is not about ignoring the world or being passive. It is about choosing when and how you engage. It is about mastering the space between words, making every moment, every glance, every pause a statement in itself. This is how you use silence, not just as a weapon, but as an art that separates those who win from those who merely speak. Final advice and call to action. Silence is only the first step. What truly separates the strong from the rest is knowing when to stay quiet, when to listen, when to learn, and when to move. We live in a world that rushes. Everyone is in a race to speak first, to reply instantly, to prove themselves before they've understood the situation. But strength doesn't come from speed. It doesn't come from noise. True strength is rooted in patience. It's rooted in knowing when to stay still, when to watch, when to let the world reveal itself. This is why silence is never about doing nothing. It's about doing the right thing at the right moment. It's about gaining clarity while others stumble over their own words. It's about listening when others can only speak, about learning when others can only assume. It's about allowing moments to breathe, allowing truths to rise to the surface, and allowing yourself to find the advantage that others miss because they can't bear to wait. The lesson here is simple. Stay patient, stay observant, stay sharp, stay composed when others try to unsettle you, stay quiet when others try to drag you into a battle that doesn't deserve your energy. Stay silent when others try to force a reaction. Stay still when others rush blindly toward defeat. Let silence guide you. Let patience ground you. Let action define you. When the time comes, when you've watched, when you've learned, when you understand the game being played, move with precision. Speak only when your words carry weight. Act only when your action can shift the balance. Strike only when you can win. This is how you rise above the noise. This is how you outlast the chaos. This is how you win, not because you spoke the loudest, but because you acted when it truly counted. The world doesn't respect those who burn themselves out with noise. It respects those who can stand firm in silence, wait until the right moment, and move with a force that cannot be ignored. So remember this. The greatest victories aren't won in moments of haste. They are won in moments of patience. The sharpest moves aren't made when emotions run wild. They are made when the mind is still. The strongest words aren't those shouted in anger, but those delivered with precision when silence has done its work. Practice this. Stay quiet when the world tries to drag you down. Stay patient when others rush toward disaster. Stay sharp when confusion swells around you. And when the moment arrives, when the silence has taught you all it can, act. Act with precision. Act with conviction. Act like someone who knows their worth, knows their timing, and knows that in a world full of noise, it's silence and patience that carve the path to victory. This is the lesson of silence, and it is the lesson of power. Stay quiet, stay patient, stay sharp, and win. If you want more powerful lessons like this, subscribe the channel and join the journey. Stay sharp, stay strong, and stay silent until it's time to move.